Hey, BookTube! So, I finished my November TBR on time. But before that, can I just begin by saying that I have finished my November TBR on time? That's right, I have finished my November TBR on time. I know it's not anything massive to really brag about, but I still just could not really imagine that I really finish 3 books in a span of 2 weeks. I have really finished them on time. So I think this only further cements the fact that YA is legitimately, truly one of my comfort genres still, after all this time. But you know what truly makes me happy about this? It's the fact that despite these books being very swift reads, they're very quick to finish, it doesn't mean that they have less substance. YA books are not lightweight. They have tremendous and massive message, impact, theme, insight, realization, and so much more. So let me just go ahead and briefly talk about them because I truly enjoyed reading these titles this month, and I also couldn't wait to get started on my December TBR, so let's go ahead and rate them. My first book for the month of November is Salingkit by Sayan Abad Hugo, and this tells the story of a high school girl who writes in her diaries in the year 1986, which is the year when the People Power Revolution took place. I rated Salingkit 3.5 out of 5 stars. It makes me truly happy that we have coming-of-age, historical fiction-based literature available right now, written by our local writers. I strongly believe, or I probably desperately wish, that there should be more coming-of-age books capturing the Filipino teenage experience in the most pivotal moments of our history. I think that is very important, and I'm glad that there's a book like this. I really wanted to give this a higher rating than 3.5 because I really appreciate the intent of the writer to give education, shed light to the truth of what has happened during that time. But I wish the writing really could have been better. Part of me thinks that I may possibly have been more emotionally invested had this been longer than 133 pages. The characters could have been fleshed out in a more in-depth manner, and there could have been more time for them to have proper character development. I don't know. So, yep, I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars because I'm truly happy that we have coming-of-age historical fiction in Filipino literature. But at the end of the day, I don't think we should just settle for writing it. We shouldn't be satisfied with just having this kind of books available to us. We should also aim for writing it excellently. So I really wish there could be more books like these that have excellent writing quality. The second book that I have read for the month of November is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, and this tells the story of a freshman's first year in college, moving out of the house and living in the dorms as she navigates her way through drifting apart from her sister, living apart from her father for the first time, and finding her place in between fan fiction, which she's very passionate about and where she really excels in, versus the challenge and the struggle of creating her own original fiction. I rated Fangirl 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think out of the 3 books that I have read for the month of November, this is the one that really had me on a wild roller coaster. My emotions, my feelings were all over the place. It's so crazy how I can go from a chapter feeling like I'm gonna rate it 5 stars and then move on to the next chapter, and then it will suddenly plummet down to probably 4.5, and then it will further sink down to 4 to 3 to 2.5 to 2, and then it will rise back up to probably 3, probably 4, and then until eventually I settled for a 4.5 rating. I mean, that's mark of really great storytelling, right? If it's really effective in evoking intense emotions from you, if it elicits that kind of reaction from you as a reader, means that the storytelling is very rich and very on point. I didn't give Fangirl a perfect 5-star rating despite the crazy, insane, emotional roller coaster that it had me go through, because at the very least, I wish that if there was only one single character that could have told Kath that her being an introvert doesn't make her any less of a person, that it really is not our business to prioritize pleasing other people to fit in as compared to our pursuit to make ourselves happy and satisfied with our own passions. To be completely honest though, I thought that I would really end up giving this a 4 stars rating, but that ending is truly one of the best endings that I have read in recent memory. So I thought it was only fitting to raise it 0.5 stars higher, because somehow that's such a very excellent redemption of everything else that I have not been satisfied with. So, good one. And the third and final book that I've read for the month of November is The Poetess by Elizabeth Acevedo. This tells the story of a high school girl who grew up in a very religious, very devout Catholic household, who falls in love for the first time, which then put a strain and pressure on her relationship with her mother, the rest of her family, and how she found solace and comfort in spoken word poetry. I think it was inevitable. I haven't had such a good cry like that in so many years, so I thought it would only be fitting to give this a 5 out of 5 stars. No wonder it won the National Book Award, and how a lot of people has highly praised and complimented this book. No surprise there. I think of the 3 books that I have read for the month of November, this has presented the best, most compelling, most riveting conflict. An excellently written conflict is not just merely realizing the life and death stakes of a situation, I think. More than anything else, it invites you to really walk around on the shoes of the characters, to look at the world from their eyes, from their standpoint. And it invites you to give a chance at shouldering their burdens that they bear, and see if that will make you or break you. And I think at the end of the day, a phenomenal book would really teach you how to learn and earn respect, because it would show you that just because your truth is different from other people's truths doesn't mean you have the right to silence them or to stop them from speaking their truth. This book is such a great reminder that we truly could not 101% agree with everything in a book because we have different stories to tell, and that's okay. And despite that, we can see past the difference, that we can still be capable of not agreeing with everything and still see past our differences and past our prejudices and still recognize the storytelling merit of a literary work. And I think that's beautiful. And I think more than anything else, the Poet X really made me remember how sometimes, if not most of the time, understanding, compassion, and grace are really some of the best forms and expressions of love that you can ever extend to a fellow human being. A book that accomplishes all that definitely deserves a 5 out of 5 star ratings, of course, right? And off we go to the summary to give credit where credit is due. For the month of November, among the 3 books, I think the best plot and the book that I enjoyed the most would have to be Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. There's no denying that you have enjoyed a book if you can feel a range of emotions from the beginning all the way until the end. It means that it was able to hold your attention and manage to really keep you that invested throughout the entire story. So really great plot. The sequence of events on here really had me so invested, and to feel that involved, to feel that level of emotional investment only certainly means that I have enjoyed it. Now on to the big stuff, stuff that I find truly the most significant when reading a book, which would be best characters, best world building, and best writing, most of all, which all 3 goes to The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. The world building is so rich here because you can definitely see such a very eloquently presented insight into their culture, and how it also have given you a good look at how they perceive religion from their standpoint. And out of all the books I've read for this month, I think this book really gave the best detail when it comes to fleshing out the characters, because even in verse or in poetry form, I somehow understood their motivations and their personalities, and saw that they all really have several dimensions to their characters. And of course, the writing is just stunning and lyrical in every sense of the word, no question, and very much a very powerful testament to the power of words. Now, for best themes, I thought it would just really be impossible to pick one of these 3 books because each and every one of them have very powerful and striking messages that they have touched on and discussed on their stories. We have a book that touched on politics and apathy. We have a book that talked about societal pressures and mental health and the evolution of literature from the traditional and more contemporary ones. And then, of course, we have a book here that touches on the differences in gender expectations and challenges not only notions about religion but also the repercussions of extreme devotion. And that's a wrap. These are my 3 books for the month of November. These are only 3 books total, but these are 3 very thought provoking books which I really enjoyed. So, all in all, I think it's been a good month. I hope you also had a good reading month for the month of November. Let me know what books you read and did you enjoy them? I hope you did. And see you on my December TBR.